Hey, welcome. If you've ever felt like you need a dictionary just to keep up with the world of AI, you are not alone. So today, let's cut through all that noise.
It feels like every single day there's a new buzzword, right? AI, ML, DL, NLP, Gen AI. It's just a whole alphabet soup. And it's totally normal to wonder, wait, how do these all fit together? Is one better than the other? Are they just different names for the same thing?
Well, don't worry. We're going to make all of this make sense, and we're going to do it with one simple idea that I promise will make everything just click. We're going to think of it like a family tree.
So first up, we're going to map out all the relationships in this, let's call it confusing family.
And then we're going to meet each family member one by one. We'll start with the great-grandparent of the whole idea and work our way all the way down to the cool, creative prodigies that are making headlines today.
All right, let's start at the very top of the tree. This is the great-grandparent, artificial intelligence, or just AI. Now this is the big one. It's the broadest idea of all. Think of it as the entire overarching concept of making machines smart, getting them to think, to reason, to solve problems, kind of like we humans do.
So here's a great way to think about it. AI is the whole idea of teaching a machine to drive a car, the big goal itself. It doesn't really matter how you do it. Maybe you program it with a bunch of rules, like if the light is red, then stop. Or maybe you let it learn by watching millions of hours of humans driving. Either way, the grand ambition, that's AI.
And you're using this stuff constantly, probably without even thinking about it. When your phone's autocorrect just knows what word you meant to type? Yep, that's AI. Or when your GPS finds that sneaky shortcut to avoid traffic. That's AI too. It's really just the huge umbrella that everything else we're going to talk about fits under.
Okay, let's come down one generation on our family tree. Meet the child, machine learning, or ML. And this is where things get really interesting. See, with ML, we kind of threw out the old rule book. Instead of telling the computer exactly what to do, we started doing something different. Thanks to the absolute explosion of data from the internet, we could just say, hey, here are a million examples. You figure out the patterns.
This is such a perfect way to get it. Just think about how you, as a little kid, learned to recognize faces. No one handed you a checklist, right? Look for 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth. No, you just saw thousands and thousands of faces, and your brain just figured it out. It learned the patterns automatically. That is the magic of machine learning. And this is the engine that powers so much of our modern world. Netflix getting spookily good at recommending shows? That's ML. Your email spam filter that actually works? ML. Your bank catching a weird charge on your credit card before you even see it? Yep, it all comes down to learning from data.
All right, let's go one generation deeper. Now we're at the grandchild, deep learning, or DL. This is a super-powered, really specialized version of machine learning. And what's so cool is that it's actually inspired by the way our own brains are structured, with all these layers of neurons. It's something that only became possible recently because of a massive jump in pure computing power.
So how does it see a cat in a picture? Well, it's not a simple checklist. It's all about layers. The first layer might just see basic lines and edges. The next layer takes those lines and puts them together into simple shapes. The next layer might recognize those shapes as, hey, that looks like an ear, and that's a whisker. And then the final layer puts it all together and goes, aha, that's a cat. See? It's that layered, deep process that gives it its name.
And this layered thinking is behind some of the most mind-blowing stuff out there today. The face recognition that unlocks your phone in a split second, that's deep learning. A self-driving car not just seeing a stop sign, but understanding what it is, deep learning. Even medical scans that can spot tiny tumors that a human doctor might miss, that's the power of DL.
Okay, so now let's talk about a couple of specialists in the family. Think of them not as direct kids or grandkids, but maybe like talented cousins. They have very specific jobs, and they use the power of machine learning and deep learning to do them. First up, we have natural language processing, or NLP. This is the family's language guru.
And its sibling, well, this is the one that everybody is talking about right now, generative AI. This is the family's creative genius, the artist. Just like NLP, it uses machine and deep learning as its brain, but its special skill isn't just about understanding stuff that's already out there. Its whole deal is creating brand new, totally original things from scratch.
Here's the absolute best way to get the difference. A traditional AI is like an art critic. It can look at a million paintings and get incredibly good at saying, yep, that's a Picasso. It's an expert at identifying. But generative AI, it's the artist.
After looking at all those same paintings, it can pick up a brush and create a brand new painting that looks like it could have been made by Picasso. One recognizes, the other creates. That's the key.
Okay, so we've met all the key players in the family. Now let's zoom out and put this all together so we can see the complete picture. So, the most important thing to remember is the hierarchy. The best way to visualize it is like those Russian nesting dolls. Artificial intelligence is the biggest doll on the outside. It's the whole field. You open it up, and inside you find the next doll, machine learning. That's the main way we do AI these days. And then you open that one up, and you find deep learning, a really powerful, specific technique inside of machine learning.
This really lays it all out, doesn't it? AI is the great-grandparent of it all. Machine learning is the most common way we build AI. Deep learning is a powerful type of ML. And our specialists, NLP and generative AI, they're like skilled professionals who use ML and DL as their tools to get their specific jobs done, whether that's understanding language or creating something new.
Okay, so we've got the family tree all mapped out, but that leads to the big question, right? Why does any of this matter? Why is understanding this so important, especially right now?
Because the explosion we're seeing right now didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's been a long time coming. This whole thing started way back in the 50s with really simple rule-based systems. Then the 80s came along with more data and machine learning started to take off. The 2010s were a game changer with the deep learning revolution, thanks to insane amounts of data and computing power. And all of that, step by step, is what led us directly to the generative AI boom that's happening as we speak.
And this right here is probably the single most important thing to take away from all of this. These are not different things fighting each other for the spotlight. They're a family. They're all connected. Each new generation is built on the successes of the one before it. It's like they're all standing on each other's shoulders. So when you use something amazing like ChatGPT, you're not just using generative AI. You're really using the power of the entire family tree working together. They're all working together, in concert. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Now that we've met the whole family and we see how they all connect, what on earth are they going to create for us next?